at the beginning of this year, I made a promise to myself that I was going to get back into reading again because, truth be told, I was becoming dumb. In all honesty, I was becoming dumb. I had no idea how to be articulate when I spoke. I was no longer confident. I would literally have full-blown conversations in my head before I approach someone and speak to them because I was scared that the minute I opened my mouth, I would just trip over my words. I would be literally incomprehensible. And it was really embarrassing because English is the only language that I know how to speak. So for me to not even know how to speak it well, it broke my heart. So I decided, God, this has to change. And I started to think to myself, like, I wasn't always like this. So what changed in particular? At what point in time did I start becoming someone who couldn't speak confidently to the point where if I wanted to speak to a cashier, I had to sort of like prepare for the possible questions and how to answer them because I wanted to be sure that I wasn't going to make a fool of myself speech-wise. I wasn't going to be mincing my words and all that. And I was done. I was really, really, really done. I just told myself, we gotta clear this up. And then I traced it back to the fact that I stopped reading. I stopped consuming books because here's the thing about books that I've come to realize. Reading books, fictional books, it's such a great way to actually improve your vocabulary and your speech. Because when let's say you pick up a textbook, a macroeconomics textbook, you know exactly what kind of knowledge you're going to garner from there because it's tailored to that specific subject. But when you pick up a novel, you have no idea what you're going to get because a novel, the author is going to make use of so many descriptions, so many things are going to come together to paint one broad picture. Yes, of course, there's a central theme, there's a central plot and all that, but the author is going to make use of so many things that in one line, you've learned something about interior design. In one paragraph, you've learned something about the medical ward. In one paragraph, the next page, you've learned something about botany, plants. You could just learn about anything. So when you read a book, a fictional book, you're going to garner so much unconscious knowledge. That is not what you set out for when you picked up the book. You did not set out to learn about plants, but you did. For example, to buttress my point, the only way I actually knew about the plants, geraniums, was because I read a book, and this was several years ago. It was just one line in the entire, I think, 350 something plus pages, and I just learned about the plants, geraniums. I think it was, how did I say it again? Something about a potted plant of geraniums was beside her pinstripe sofa. That was it. That was the only time geraniums was mentioned in the entire book. It was inconsequential at best. If the author had decided not to include that in the novel would have still been perfect and fine. But just one line, I learned something new. And I realized that a lot of things that I know today, they came from books. I may not even be able to remember what particular book, what the title of the book is, or what the story of the book actually was about. But I learned something new, and that thing has stayed with me forever. That thing has stayed with me till now. Geraniums has stayed with me till now, as so many other things as well. So I realized that I wasn't learning anything new because I wasn't reading books anymore. I wasn't involving myself. I wasn't immersing myself in other words because I wasn't reading. And because I wasn't reading, I wasn't learning new vocabulary. Because when I read books, okay, and I see a new word, sometimes I don't even bother checking the dictionary because according to the context of that paragraph, I already can infer the meaning of the word. I mean, it's not good to do that because sometimes you think, oh, this thing means this thing, but when you check it out, it means something different. So always check the dictionary, friends. But sometimes when I just see a new word, given the paragraph, given the context, I can infer the meaning of the word. And I loved doing that. But ever since I stopped reading books, I haven't been able to do that at all. And so I've progressively become dumb. I shouldn't say that about myself, should I? But truth be told, I was becoming less knowledgeable because nothing new was coming in. You understand what I'm saying? I hope you do. So I told myself, oh, we got to correct that. We got to start reading more books because when you're reading books, okay, and some people, they have internal monologue. They say the words in their head, in their minds. So when you're reading books and you're sort of reading the book to yourself, you are reciting the words in your mind. it enables you to be articulate. You understand what I'm saying? It enables you to know how to make good use of words, especially good books. Your verbiage, chef's kiss. So when you are reading books and you're reciting the books internally, you are giving a really brilliant speech. Like everything is so wow, because it's like you are saying something that you wrote, but you're not the one that wrote it. But what you are reciting internally is so well written, it feels like you're the one that wrote it. And that sort of makes you smarter. I was no longer having that. I was no longer connecting to my inner self. I wasn't refining my inner monologues. So therefore, everything was just becoming worse. And I said, we got to change it. We're going back to reading books. So I'm glad I actually started to read books, because right now I think my vocabulary is at a place where, I mean, I'm not proud of it yet. I think I still have a lot of work to do, but I am really happy with where I am right now, because a few months ago, I wouldn't have been able to make this video in one take. This whole video is in one take so far. I wouldn't have been able to make a video like this. I would have done at least 120 takes before I actually become satisfied with a take that I actually, love. Before I actually make it. Now I'm mincing my words. I'm so sorry. Don't brag, guys. Don't brag, because then you start failing. But I mean, I'm trying to say I would have had to do multiple takes before I actually get a clip that I am satisfied with. And even then, I would heavily edit it. Heavily. I mean, sometimes it's good to heavily edit your videos, because you realize that you keep saying one thing over and over and over again, and you only really need to say it once. But still, I'm happy with where I am now. And I just want to tell you that you should go ahead and read more books. If you're someone that you want, I'm spreading so much. If you're someone that you want to have a good conversational skills, you want to be able to speak without feeling like you are an imposter or anything like that, you want to be able to just have a conversation with anyone, anywhere, and you're not going to trip over your words and things like that, you should go ahead and read more books. It's going to be so beneficial for you, like immensely beneficial. The benefit you cannot account for at all, because it's not only going to help you become a refined individual, you're also going to be able to just do anything on the spot. You really have to prepare for things. I mean, it's good to prepare, obviously, but you wouldn't need preparation for every single moment that you are called upon to speak or just talk to a stranger down the road. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope you do. Anyway, that's it. That's all I want to say. And in terms of, I did not used to be this way, I mean that back in secondary school, for example, I used to read a lot. I would skip geography classes and go to the library to just read a book. During mathematics classes, I would instead read a book because I hated mathematics. But I did everything I was supposed to do. I did not do it. I read a book instead. I was either reading a book or watching a piece of media. And that time of my life was truly the best, because I was so immersed in different words. It was wonderful, guys. It was wonderful. But when I got into university and things were becoming a little bit more serious, I realized, life is becoming more serious now. I sort of put reading books at the back burner, and it's also affected my writing, because I am a writer. I love to write. I'm even having storytelling videos on here, so you could go check those out if you want. If you're interested in storytelling videos, you could go check out my storytelling videos. But it also affected the way I write, because as I was becoming dumb, my writing was also becoming dumb, sadly. But now that I am reading again and I am consuming things that are practical and of good knowledge, I am also finding that it's having a really positive effect on my writing, because honestly, life is a cycle. You have to consume good things to produce good things. If you are constantly consuming bad pieces of literature, it's going to show up in what you produce. So you have to consume good things to create good things. And you know what? I'm happy where I am now. Really. This is the book that I am currently reading. This book, Rules of Civility. And I love it. This is the book I read before Rules of Civility. I don't want to talk about this one. This is not a book critic video, but this is a book I read before that one. I've seen a lot of reviews about this book, and some people hate it, some people love it. For me, I love it, but I also hate certain things about it. But again, we're not here to talk about book reviews. These are the two books that I one to read after I'm done reading Rules of Civility. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a nice day, wonderful time. I'll see you in another video. Maybe if you want to, you could subscribe and you could, you know, come watch more of my videos. But until then, bye. Take care. How do I end this video? Bye.